Welcome to Deconstructing Technology with Gordon Half. That's me. This is going to be an occasional video and audio podcast that looks at various trends and products that I find interesting and that are maybe a little easier to examine in audio or video form than they are in the blog that I normally write. The topic for this first video cast is trackballs. This is a sort of an idiosyncratic input device that I've always been fond of, and the one I've been using for years broke recently, so I had to take a look at what was available out there. And I thought that I'd share these observations with you. Now, if you've never used a trackball, mice are a pretty standard type of device these days. They don't differ all that much. Whereas with trackballs, there are very different types of designs and some real trade-offs out there. I must say a lot of the things I find out there are not very well designed. For example, one thing that we saw a lot of in a certain period, and maybe about 10 years or so ago, was very small trackballs that people attached to things like notebooks. And these were really terrible devices because they were very small, and they also were, even worse, designed so you used your thumb with them. So if you really want a trackball to work well, you need one that you can operate with your fingers rather than your thumb, and you want one with a pretty good sized trackball. There's also just a lot of very complicated ergonomics depending upon exactly how your hand rests on them and whether you can use them right-handed and left-handed and so forth. But rather than kind of spend any more time talking about it, let's look at some of the trackballs out there. This first trackball we're looking at is one I had to replace. The left micro switch here went on me. And this is a fairly classic asymmetrical right hand only trackball. And one of the nice things about this design is you'll see how large this trackball is, and that gives you a lot of control. That's a very nice feature in a trackball. The only thing this really doesn't have is it doesn't have a scroll wheel of any kind. Again, you kind of see why some of these designs don't, because there isn't a real obvious place to put it. But I used this for many years and it was very nice. So here we have the Logitech Marble USB, about $25 from Amazon. It's a wired USB design. There are some things to like about this design and some things to not like so much. Things to like: two nice large buttons in a symmetrical design. So great for either right-handers or left-handers and doesn't take getting used to. Things to maybe not like so much: well, the trackball isn't small, but it's not as large as some of the other designs. The other thing I didn't like about this so much was that, at least with my size of hand, it's sort of a sharp ridge here, so it almost felt like I was cupping the trackball. Then we come to a Logitech cordless optical TrackMan, about $50 from Amazon. It was probably becoming a theme by now. There are things to like and not like about this as well. Okay, so the good. Well, it's got bigger trackball again, and we like that. Also, the right mouse button is nice and large and well positioned. Problem is, the left mouse button, which, you know, is kind of important, is relatively small. Now, some other things make up for that. First of all, I found that over time I did get used to pressing that left mouse button, but you need some adjustment period until you get kind of used to where it was. The other thing that really made this the ultimate winner for me is programmability. First of all, there's a scroll wheel, which isn't that common in trackballs and is nice to have. But probably the even bigger win than that is these various programmable buttons, and these two buttons in particular can be programmed to page up or page down, and I found that to be great for web pages. In this case, the cordless was actually a bit of a negative because I like to mount it where my keyboard tray is. But what I did was I was able to rig up some Velcro, and that worked pretty well. Thanks for listening. I hope it's been helpful, and please tune in next time. Take care.